The Little Match Girl by Hans Christian Andersen. Good evening, my dear little friends, and welcome to our cozy storytelling corner. Tonight, I found a very old and well-known tale for you, written by a man named H.C. Andersen. It's called The Little Match Girl. It's a story that can be a little sad, yes, but it also reminds us how important it is to be kind to one another and to see the light even when everything feels dark. Now, let us listen together and let our imaginations wander. It was terribly cold. Snow was falling and it was almost dark. Evening came on, the last evening of the year. In the cold and darkness, a poor little girl, with bare head and naked feet, roamed through the streets. It is true she had on a pair of slippers when she left home, but they were not of much use. They were very large slippers, so large that her mother had used them, and the little girl had lost them in running across the street to avoid two carriages that were rolling by at a terrible rate. One of the slippers she could not find, and a boy ran away with the other, saying he could use it as a cradle for his own children someday. So the little girl went on with her tiny, naked feet, which were red and blue with the cold. In an old apron she carried a number of matches and had a bundle of them in her hand. No one had bought anything of her the whole day, nor had anyone given her a single penny. Shivering with cold and hunger, she crept along, a picture of misery, poor little girl. The snowflakes fell on her long, fair hair, which hung in curls over her shoulders. But she cared nothing for her own beauty now. Lights were shining in every window, and there was a savory smell of roast goose, for it was New Year's Eve. Yes, she remembered that. In a corner, between two houses, one of which projected beyond the other, she sank down and huddled herself together. She had drawn her little feet under her, but she was colder than ever, and she dared not go home, for she had sold no matches, and could not bring home the least bit of money. Her father would certainly beat her, and besides, it was almost as cold at home as it was here. They had only the roof to cover them, and the wind whistled through it, although the largest cracks were stuffed with straw and rags. Her little hands were almost frozen with the cold. Ah, a match might do her some good, if she could only draw one from the bundle and strike it against the wall and warm her fingers. She drew one out. Scratch! How it sputtered as it burnt. It gave a warm, bright light like a little candle as she held her hands over it. It was a wonderful little light. It seemed to the little girl that she was sitting by a large iron stove with polished brass feet and a brass ornament. How the fire burned! And it seemed so beautifully warm that the little girl stretched out her feet as if to warm them, when, lo, the flame of the match went out, the stove vanished, and she had only the remains of the burnt match in her hand. She struck another match on the wall. It burned brightly, and where the light fell upon the wall, it became transparent, like a veil, and she could see into the room. A snow-white cloth was spread upon the table. Upon it was a splendid china dinner service and a steaming roast goose stuffed with apples and dried plums. And what was still more wonderful, the goose jumped down from the dish and waddled across the floor with a knife and fork in its breast to the little girl. Then the match went out, and there remained nothing but the thick, damp, cold wall. She lit another match, and she was now sitting under a beautiful Christmas tree. It was larger and more beautifully decorated than the one she had seen through the glass door at the rich merchant's. Thousands of tapers were burning upon the green branches, and colored pictures, like those she had seen in the show windows, looked down upon her. The little girl stretched out her hands towards them, and the match went out. The Christmas lights rose higher and higher till they looked to her like the stars in the sky. Then she saw a star fall, leaving behind it a bright streak of fire. Someone is dying, thought the little girl, for her old grandmother, the only one who had ever loved her and who was now dead, had told her that when a star falls, a soul was going up to God. She again struck a match on the wall. It was again light, and in the brightness stood her old grandmother, clear and shining, yet mild and loving in her appearance. "Grandmother," cried the little one, "oh, take me with you. I know you will go away when the match burns out. You will vanish like the warm stove, the lovely roast goose, and the great glorious Christmas tree." And she made haste to light the whole bundle of matches, for she wished to keep her grandmother with her. And the matches glowed with a light that was brighter than the noonday, and her grandmother had never appeared so large or so beautiful. She took the little girl in her arms, and they both flew upwards in brightness and joy, far above the earth, where there was neither cold, nor hunger, nor pain, for they were with God. In the dawn of morning, there lay the poor girl, with pale cheeks and smiling mouth, leaning against the wall, frozen to death on the last evening of the old year. The New Year's sun rose upon a little pathetic figure. The child sat there, stiff and cold, holding the matches, of which one bundle was almost consumed. She wanted to warm herself, the people said. No one imagined what beautiful things she had seen, nor in what glory she had gone with her grandmother to the New Year's Day. And there, my dears, our story for tonight ends. It reminds us to keep our hearts warm, even when it's cold around us, and to always look for the good in the world. Each of us can spread a little warmth and kindness, just like the little match girl with her tiny match. Thank you for listening. Sleep well, and remember that there is always light, even in the darkness.